Greetings everybody! If you want to experience last true Mercedes luxury, then W211 is one of the last true E-Class Mercedes that will deliver you German standards of success in a 4-door saloon. Unfortunately, buying W211 today is as risky as marrying purple-haired girl with multiple identities. To lower your risks, in this video I introduce you to the world of W211's financial traps that can hurt you badly. Also, how to avoid them and how to enjoy your car. W211 is considered to be one of the best E-Class and it is still very loved by everybody. Mercedes spent $2 billion on developing it. It was so good that compared to W210 facelift version, W211 did not have 1,500 improvements in its facelift. There were simply not many things to improve. Let's start from the 4-cylinder engines. The 4-cylinder compressor engine can have problems with oil and petrol mixture. It can get to the cylinders if the car was not maintained properly. Also, engine chain needs to be changed every 200,000 kilometers. Compressor needs to be serviced every 100,000 kilometers. It needs only high-octane fuel and oil change every 7,000–8,000 kilometers. V6 and V8s love to consume fuel, but they're considered to be one of the most reliable engines that Mercedes ever made. Service it on time and everything will be good. Engine chain on V6 and V8 engines can last up to 300,000 kilometers. From 2005, the M272 and M273 were much less reliable engines than previous. I think it's the first time in the history of Mercedes when pre-facelift engine was more reliable than the facelift version. After 2005, V6 and V8 were not so reliable as the previous V6 and V8s in the pre-facelift versions of W211. Engine chain can last up to 200,000 kilometers. The new alusil coating that covered cylinder walls was not very reliable. But this coating would last up to 200,000 kilometers if engine oil was changed every 7–8,000 kilometers and owner used premium or high octane fuel. Also, if cooling was changed on time and radiators were cleaned every 70,000 kilometers. The rarest engine in W211 is not the MG engine. The rarest engine is M112 3.7 liter V6. It was produced from 2002 to 2008. It generated 250 brake horsepower and I have no idea is it reliable or not. Transmissions in W211 are reliable. 5-speed and 7-speed automatic gearbox are basically indestructible. 7-speed gearbox needs oil change every 60,000 kilometers and 5-speed automatic gearbox needs every 100,000 kilometers oil change. If you want to drive W211 aggressively, you need to warm up your gearbox, especially 7-speed, and change cooling in the 7-speed gearbox every 60,000 kilometers when you change the oil. If you do all that, the 7-speed gearbox will last forever. Suspension is solid and comfortable and reliable. The air suspension is the worst air suspension in Mercedes history. The air suspension hates hot weather, cold weather, because the rubber balloons that hold the air will dry up, crack and have air leaks. Then your compressor pump will burn, and even if you change one air suspension, the second, the third and the fourth will break every 3 months. The solution is either to change it to the conventional coil springs and shock absorbers, or order not OEM parts, because air suspension came faulty from the factory. And also there are many companies that make air suspension for W211 with warranty for 10 years. If you will spend money on air suspension from good company, then you will enjoy W211 much more than just conventional coil springs, because W211 is more softer and just gives you better ride. Brakes in the models that made after 2005 are great, but before 2005 have some problems. CBS system has electric mechanic pump and this system can last up to 200,000 kilometers, but it can let go and stop braking in any time. If there's always a risk that this system will fail earlier. This system depends on electricity, so if battery dies, you cannot drive this car and this car will not stop, so always check your batteries. After 2005, brakes were reliable and Mercedes fixed that issue. Interior is great, not just great, it's the best interior in Mercedes history. It's so good that it's just nice to be there and don't drive anywhere. You will enjoy sitting there. If you have panoramic roof, that's another great feature. But you need to change the rubber all over the panoramic roof because it will dry out and it will not leak but make horrible sound when you open the sunroof. Also, it's very spacious, it smells great, the thick leather always attracts your hands to touch it. It's just very great place to be in. W211 estate versions are even more cooler than the sedan versions, and some of them are 7-seaters. Also, they're considered to be more expensive and much more rare, and rarer than W211s. So if you want a estate version, that would be a perfect choice for you. Mercedes had a great sense of humor. They knew that what they created was very unique and very luxurious, so one of the commercials was mainly focused on interior. It really was so good that you didn't want to get out of it. When you are in interior of W211, and it doesn't matter in what trim it is, you do feel cocooned in luxury and you want to do everything there. You want to live there, sleep there, eat there, and not get out of it. So the big question is, what is the best W211? The best W211 is with the proper service history. If you find good W211 that was before 2005, then pay attention to the brakes. If you find it after, then pay attention to the engine. Air suspension is not reliable in all W211s. Also, when you're gonna buy it, keep at least $5,000 in cash in your safe for a rainy day. And do not forget that W211 is more than 20 years old. Anytime, anything can happen. If you can afford it, then buy V8 or AMG versions and enjoy it every day. Before buying, take Mercedes mechanic with you to do proper inspection and ask him to take endoscope with him, and also ask him to take plug-in computer so he can check the actual mileage, how was the engine treated, so you will buy this car without any hesitations and enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what do you think about W211. Take care and bye bye.